Every time I have this conversation with someone, they're always like, oh, no one ever regrets having children. Like, everyone always says that nobody ever.
They would be wrong. There is an entire book about regretting motherhood. Read it.
Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at mothers regretting motherhood. And I want to point out first that you can regret motherhood and still love your kids or love being a mom. And previously we have looked at cases of women choosing to be child-free by choice. And now we're just going to look into the things that have made mothers regret their choice, if it was a choice at all, because some did not realize it you can choose to be child free by choice, or they were not given the choice to choose to be child free, either by false advertising of how motherhood is supposed to be, or they really wanted it and they have realized that they lack a community, and the state of the world as it is not the most conducive to be a parent. We're going to I'm going to let them explain in their own words so you can best understand it. And don't forget to share this topic with your fellow girlfriends so that they can make informed choices.
I regret being a parent. Now, before you come for me, please hear me out. For the longest time, I didn't want kids. My husband and I were on the same page, and then we got to year 11 in our marriage, and through some discussions and things, we decided we did. We did want to start a family. We changed our minds, as people do. And I think we went into it thinking that it might not even happen because we had some friends with fertility issues and things like that. So we thought maybe this might not even happen for us. So we're just going to go ahead and try anyway. Instead, it happened very quickly. And I think that kind of shocked us a bit. And for 2 straight weeks, I cried thinking about it because I was like, what have I done? I've ruined my plans. What am I doing? I got over it after the initial shock of it all. And then the pandemic hit and we had our daughter, and I thought, great, now this is not going at all as what I thought. And it was hard, but I love my daughter. She is hilarious. She is so sweet. She's so smart, witty. I can be having the worst day ever, and she knows that, and she'll give me a hug, and she brightens every part of my day. And I love being her mom, and I love being a mom. But there were a lot of reasons why I didn't want kids. And one of those reasons was that I didn't want to bring a kid into a world that was declining as it is. And I don't know if this happens every generation. I don't know if every generation has thought, what am I bringing my kids into? But especially with the state of things as of late, I look into her eyes and how bright it is and how wonderful she sees everything. And I just think, what have I done? Because one day it's not going to be as bright for her. And look at everything that's happening. So in that respect, I regret being a parent, even though I love being a mom. And I just wanted to share that with you today, in case anybody else feels that way.
Bitch, I'm sitting in here crying about my baby daddy not getting the kids, and then I started crying at the fact that I don't have the kids with me right now. My friend, she came to my house. We sit in the garage, and she said, Mike, how you feeling? And I started fucking crying. And she said, you know what? You don't deserve that. Like, you don't deserve for your co-parent to do what they do to you. So if he decide he don't want to get the kids, we could just co-parent. Like, you can get my kid on your week, it's supposed to be your week, and then I can get yours. And bro, I be feeling like I'm so alone, right? But I hate when my voice get that. I be feeling like I'm so alone, and then God remind me, bro, you're not alone, bro. It's hard. It's hard being a soft parent, a gentle parent, because you need a reset. You need a reset day. You need a reset day or a day or two so you can, you know what I'm saying? Especially you ain't come from no gentle parenting. So it's hard sometimes pointing to these kids, bro. Because I don't want to fuck them up because I'm overwhelmed. And bitch, you trying, like, the fact that you decide you're not going to get your kids and you know how overstimulated I be. Bitch, you trying to make me fuck up my kid's childhood because you trying to fuck my mental up, and I'm not gonna let you. God not gonna let you. God not gonna let you, bitch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you my biggest hater. And I knew he was my biggest hater a long time ago.
One of the most vile things we do as a society is encourage women to become mothers without giving them the reality of what motherhood is. I think about this a lot because I co-host a podcast about being child-free, and we've helped a lot of women embrace their child-free life in new ways. But when I tell you this post on Reddit fucked me up, this was in the Regretful Parenthood sub, and the subject line was, "At bare minimum, I thought they at least loved you." She said, "I'm a stay-at-home mom to a freshly 2-year-old. I became a one-and-done mom within 3 weeks after birth because I felt I was instantly sold a lie and wouldn't trap myself further." Already dark. She goes on to say her child was very wanted and she was so grateful she conceived with no issue. But this is where things, I think, start to go awry. She said, "I do all the things mom is supposed to do while pregnant. I sung to her, rubbed and poked at my belly, talked to her constantly. And maybe I'm wrong, but all of those things sound like a fantasy to me. They sound like things you do when you dream of being pregnant, not what being pregnant actually is like." And so to cite that as doing all the things a mom is supposed to do is already confusing to me. But I'm trying to reserve judgment. She goes on to say that she hated being pregnant, but she would try to gaslight herself into feeling the love because she knew the hormones would help her, and then the baby shows up. She says that she didn't like being held at first. She rejected the breast milk. She would not do contact naps. She was in pain and she was gassy. She then says at 2 years old, her daughter still has to be prompted to say, "I love you," which I think is pretty normal for a 2-year-old. She's demanding. She's constantly getting into anything she can. She has meltdowns within 5 seconds. She's a biter, a clawer, a pincher, a hitter when she gets mad. And overall keeps getting brattier and brattier. And then she says we don't do iPads and she gets an hour of screen time a day. Miss Rachel receives more excitement than the slave she has in me. And this is where so much resentment starts coming out. And honestly, I don't blame this mom. I blame the society that taught her that being motherhood was going to be something completely different. She said she used to be a baker and a cook, but her daughter doesn't like anything she makes. She goes on to say that her mom wasn't a great mom. She was just selfish and entitled, and she didn't want to be like that. She gives so much love so freely and doesn't expect her to give anything like I was expected to give in return. I just don't understand why she doesn't have a want for me at all. I didn't have a child to fill a void like my mom. She ends the post talking about her and her husband and said, "We wanted children so we could see the joy in life from a new set of eyes and give everything he and I lacked growing up. I thought the love was a bonus. I thought they just inherently loved you. I thought they inherently wanted to make you proud." And I don't feel like I should be the person saying this because I'm not a parent and I will never be a parent. We should be honest with people about this life choice. That nothing is inherent in motherhood or parenthood. Your child could be born deathly ill or develop an illness or an addiction along the way. They're not guaranteed to outlive you. They're not guaranteed to love you or take care of you. Choosing to be a parent means choosing all of those hard things, even if you don't get anything in return. And yet for some reason, I feel like we teach people the exact opposite. Have kids, don't have money, it will work out. You'll figure it out, other people have figured it out. You're pregnant, is it a boy or a girl? As if the baby is even guaranteed to be a boy or a girl after birth. But the worst thing we do is tell people to have kids because it's the only way to experience true love. Because that is not a guarantee. And to enter into parenthood with that expectation is dangerous and irresponsible, both to yourself and to your child. I don't know, am I crazy? Like, why don't we teach people what parenthood is really like and then allow them to make an informed decision? If you know everything going into it and still say, this is what I want, I'm called to be a parent, then awesome. But the fact that we just dupe the majority of society into doing this wild thing with crazy expectations will never make sense to me.
Okay, so this section is talking about how there are some benefits of motherhood that society promises to a woman. And I'm using the gender binary because the author does, but also I do think this is like particularly related to cis women and how cis women are socialized to basically be on the motherhood track by society. So, okay, here are some of the purported benefits of motherhood for women. Motherhood will lead to a justified, valuable existence, a state that corroborates her necessity and vitality, aka finally she'll have a purpose. Motherhood will confirm to herself and announce to the world that she is a woman in every sense of the word, a moral figure who not only pays her debts to nature by creating life, but also one who protects and fosters it. Motherhood will connect her to the generational chain of her mother and grandmother, to the women who have given birth since the dawn of time. Motherhood will allow her ownership over something. She will now have authority over children, rather than simply submitting to the authority of the world. Motherhood will channel her into mature femininity as she leaves her father's home and builds her own family. Motherhood will enable her to have a close, intimate alliance with her partner, if there is one, through mutual children. Motherhood will allow her to dedicate herself to something, to endure suffering, to fulfill needs, and to exhibit an altruistic kindness without expecting to get something in return. Motherhood will allow her to tear pages of neglect, poverty, racism, mockery, loneliness, and violence from her past, offering a new refuge by leaving the precious reality behind. These are insane. Through motherhood, she will generate infinite imagined possibilities of a better future. As I was reading this list, I was shocked by this because it seems satirical almost, but in fact it's true. Like, those are the things that we are told by society that will happen when we become mothers, when women become mothers, right?
I consider myself someone that stands 10 toes down on the fact that I regret motherhood. It's like I don't regret my daughter, I regret the role.
I think people are rubbed the wrong way about it because most moms feel that way.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to say it.
There is an anxiety that I have developed having a child that never lived in me before at all. The fear of even when she's not with me and I don't have to be selfless, I'm still thinking about, is somebody going to hurt her? Is a fucking earthquake gonna happen? A mother is like who I am, like at my core, and because of that, it consumes a lot of my thoughts, and I fucking hate that.
I need space from my child in order to be a good parent. I can play as much as a 34-year-old woman can play.
Yeah.
But feeling guilty about that too. I chose to be a mother. You're supposed to love every part.
One day she's not going to want to play with you.
She's not going to want to play. You're going to wish you played. No, I won't.
Now that I have been posting the Regretful Parents series for quite a while, I have noticed some commonalities across what women are saying in the messages and in the comments. And I made a list of the 15 most common things that I'm hearing. And these not only apply to regretful parents, they apply to all parents, especially mothers. And so I wanted to share them here so that if you are thinking about becoming a mother, these are 15 things that you need to consider and think about. And the first common theme that I have seen, and I've noticed this before I started doing this series, I've seen this in every parent that I've ever known, and that is guilt. Every parent, regretful or not, deals with guilt on a daily basis for the rest of their life. You have guilt when you do the wrong things. You have guilt when you know you're doing the right things. You have guilt when you prioritize yourself. You feel guilt when you prioritize your kids. But it's just lifelong guilt. If you have kids, guilt, just accept it's gonna happen. The second common theme that I'm seeing is the fact that labor and delivery is not talked about, and how dangerous it is, and how traumatic it can be, and how labor and delivery can alter you emotionally, mentally, and physically for a long, long time. It is a dangerous process, and it is not discussed nearly enough. The third common theme is postpartum depression. Many women experience it, and it can last for a long time, and it can affect your experience as a new mother drastically. Again, it is not being talked about enough in relation to the impact it has on the life of a new mother. Fourth common theme, there is no village. It is said in every message, it is mentioned in so many comments. Women who thought they had a village, women who were told they had a village explicitly from their family and friends who said, we will help you, we will support you, please have the baby. And the village goes poof the moment that baby arrives. The fifth common thing that I'm seeing throughout these messages and comments is autism, ADHD, and neurodivergence being present in both the children as well as in the parents, and often the parents not finding out until well after their children are born. Number 6 is people invalidating experiences that are not their own. So I read a message from a woman and people are quick to rush into the comments to say, well, that's not my experience. I love my children and I would do anything for them. And that's not how it is for me. So if you become a parent and you want to talk about your honest lived experience as a parent, you can expect to be invalidated by many people. Number 7 is regret about things other than your children. And this has been touched on in a few of my videos. Regretting things like lost time, regretting things like lost experiences, things you weren't able to do because you had children, regretting the fact that you can't raise your children the way you want to raise them because you don't have the resources you need, because you don't have the village. So regret is a huge theme, even if it's not directly pointed at having children. Number 8, not realizing how much your life will change and how you will probably lose your identity, at least for a little while. This is such a common theme in these messages and in these comments. Your life changes forever in ways that you cannot imagine and in every way possible. And yes, many mothers lose their identity entirely because they have to give themselves over entirely to a new little human being. So if you choose to go into parenthood, be aware that that will likely happen. Number 9, it doesn't end at 18. Parenthood is for life. Motherhood is for life. Once they turn 18, you still worry. You still have regret. You still have guilt. You're still taking care of them. You're still thinking about them. You still have anxiety about them. It does not end at 18. You are in it for the rest of your life. Number 10 is children of regretful parents. I have heard from many of them, and I will be doing a series about children from regretful parents, and children often know. They can tell, and they know when they get older, when they're adults, they realize that their parents regretted having them. So that is something you have to think about. If you're not 100% in on parenthood and you think you may feel regret, just know that your children will probably be able to feel that too. Number 11 is women being in the role of caregivers for their entire lives. They talk about how they have taken care of their boyfriends who become their husbands, still taking care of them. Then they take care of their children. Then they take care of their aging parents. Then it's back to taking care of their aging husband. And they spend their entire lives being caregivers. And to top it off, they are not appreciated. No one cares for them. Which brings me to number 12, which is mentioned in so many of these messages, and that is the fact that you feel invisible as a mother. Your work is not recognized or appreciated by your children, by your husband or partner, or by the world. You feel invisible and lonely much of the time. Number 13 is loneliness. Many women describe themselves as being lonely despite having a family, despite having a partner, despite having kids. They feel alone and they feel lonely. Number 14 is judgment from other people, especially other mothers. You will deal with the judgment of people and how you choose to raise your children, how you choose to parent. You'll deal with that judgment on every level throughout your existence as a parent. And number 15, moms are the default parent who get blamed for everything, and dads get praised for the bare minimum.
What to do anymore. Hey guys, this is just like a video because I honestly don't know what to do anymore. I feel like I'm literally going crazy every single day, and I feel so beyond alone. Like, being a parent is the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Or being a mother is the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I always wanted to be a mum. I always wanted to have kids. I just thought things would be different. I don't know if I romanticized motherhood or I romanticized how I thought this life was gonna go. And now that I'm here, it's like I hate it. Like, I hate it. I hate it every single day. I don't want to be here. And it's like, I know I have nobody else to blame but myself, so I don't need people coming and telling me that it's my fault because I chose to have these kids. I know that. I know that it's my fault. I know that I can't blame anybody else. It was my decision that led to the situation that I'm in, but it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't hurt any less.
I don't know. Being a mother of a toddler is extremely challenging. The screaming, the tantrums, the yelling, the overstimulation. Like, I'm just touched out. Like, I just need space. I need a break. And I don't get that. I don't get a break. I don't get space. I don't get time to myself. If he doesn't nap, I legit am just up 24/7 on go mode. Like, without breathing, without eating, without thinking, without stopping for a moment, because like, those naps are just that crucial part of your life, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, or like 3 hours. Like, it allows you to just sit down and breathe and just forget. Like, this shit is hard, and like, I'm just really tired. Like, I'm really fucking tired, and I just don't have anyone around me that like understands what I'm going through, or like is a mother. And like, I just feel like I'm constantly failing every single day. Like I don't know what to do anymore. It's the point where I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here for my kids. I don't want to be here for myself. I don't know. I don't want to cry on the internet, but it's like, I don't have anybody else to talk to. I don't have anywhere else to turn to. I don't have the community. I don't have the people around me. Like, it's just me, and I'm stuck. And I'm trying so hard every single day, but it shouldn't be this hard. I don't want to try anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, it's just, I don't know, and it's my fault. Like, I know that it's my fault, because my decisions led to this. I chose this. I just thought it would be different. I thought it would be easier in some ways. I don't know what I thought. I don't know. I just feel like I'm...
Ooh, look at this tweet, y'all. It's a doozy. I hate being a mother. It's one of the biggest regrets. One of my biggest regrets. And nobody can convince me that it's worth it. Ever. Ooh, Jesus, take the wheel. And I think we all need to be more honest about that shit. She literally said, I regret being a mother. I regret that shit. And I feel like a lot of y'all, especially y'all child-free haters, feel the same way. But you don't want to admit it. You be all in my comments talking shit, saying weird shit to me. I respect that woman because she had the balls to admit the truth. I don't respect y'all because y'all don't. Y'all like to pretend like having kids is the best thing in the world. Meanwhile, you are struggling, fighting for your life behind that computer screen. Just tell the truth. Tell the fucking truth. It doesn't matter who gets mad at you. If they get mad at you, then they were never rocking with you to begin with. Tell the truth so people who do want children can make an informed decision on whether or not they actually want them, because they'll know what goes along with it.
The easiest way to know if a mother regrets motherhood or not, pay attention to the way she responds to you when you tell her that you don't want children. So, a content, happy mother, a mother who may say, you know, motherhood is hard and it has its challenges, but I love being a mother, and, you know, they are okay with or content with their choice. Their response is typically going to be, hey, you know, motherhood is not for everybody. If you know you don't want kids, don't have them. You know, you got to be sure. You got to make sure you pick the right person. It can be tough. They'll have like this, like sort of aura of support and supporting you with you knowing who you are and what you want. A mother who regrets motherhood, and in my opinion, this is over half of them, this is just my own personal opinion, their responses are going to be a bunch of condescending questions. What's wrong with kids? Or any woman over a certain age that don't have kids, I don't trust bitches like that. Or your cooch must be trash. Or you're probably infertile. Or you don't have a purpose. Like, you're not even a real woman. You're trying to escape responsibility. Who do you think? You're better than everybody else? They'll have that sort of like vibe about them. I instantly know that those types of mothers, number one, regret motherhood, and number two, are insanely jealous of child-free women. Insanely jealous. Because you got to really think about mothers who are happy and content with their decisions. They don't have a dog in the fight. They don't have a reason to come at you and tell you things like, you're going to die alone and your life doesn't mean anything and you're trying to escape responsibility. They're not going to do that. That's not going to be their aura. That won't even be their vibe. You won't even feel that vibe coming from them. But the ones who are resentful, the ones who fell for the okie doke, the ones who regret their decisions, the ones who hate the bodies that they're in, the ones who baby daddies hate the entire F out of them. Baby daddies have probably even tried to them or, and unfortunately some of these women are unalived because of their baby daddies too, by the way. Those custody battles and all types of crap that they're going through, I think they have a flash comes before them or something. And they get upset that you, as a child-free woman, are not going to have to ever experience those things. And it pisses them off because it's not fair. Because it's like, who do you think you are that you can escape the hell that I'm in every day? And that's going to be the vibe or the aura that you get from them. I can honestly say that the vast majority of the people who tell me not to have kids if I don't really want them are mothers. And they are mothers who generally support child-free women in general. They think it's cool that we know ourselves. They think it's cool that we're able to make that choice. And that we're just like very cognizant of the responsibility of motherhood to the point where we're like, we're not cut out for it, or we just don't want to do it, or whatever, But the resentful, bitter, what they call the bitter baby mama, their whole vibe, it just sucks, right? They just don't even know how to be positive about the situation. And that's how you know that they regret motherhood.
This was a hard message to read. It's fairly short, but I want to ask you to please be kind in the comments and please just put yourself in someone else's shoes rather than rushing to judge, because this message is a little harsh and it could be easy to jump to judgment, but please reserve judgment and just put yourself in this woman's shoes. She says, I hate being a mother. I have 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. There are 2 fathers. One of them is a great father. The other is an alcoholic. Throughout the years, I've sacrificed everything. My youth, my time, my career, my life to be a full-time mom. Because at the time, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Not because I wanted to. But culturally, once you're a mom, that's it. You give up everything. Your happiness, your life, your career. I'm just so miserable. I hate being a mom. I hate my kids. Obviously, I don't starve them or beat them. I just do the bare minimum right now. I take them to school. I make dinner. I buy them the things they want and need, and that's it. I don't go out of my way to spend time with them or have fun with them. In fact, I avoid it as much as I possibly can. I don't date at all. I never have men around them. Because even though I hate my children, I don't like the idea of men being around them in case one of them is a creep. What I'm trying to get at is, I hate being a mom. I wish I was free from them, and sometimes when I let thoughts get the best of me and let my mind run, I think how I would feel if I just woke up and they were gone. Poof, magic. Like the movies where they wake up and the life they dreamt is actually just that, a dream. I can't wait for them to grow up so I can finally have my freedom. But it sucks because then I'll be old. How fucking unfair.
I love my kids, but I absolutely do not enjoy motherhood. From the age of 15 to now, I have never had a time to have a break. I am always responsible to do everything. The kids' fathers, they help when they want to help. But if it's not convenient for them, then it's left on me. I told my kid's father that I was mentally going through it. This nigga gonna say, oh, well, that's your fault. He leaves the kids off on me whenever he wants to. Whenever he can't find a babysitter, he leaves them off on me. And then he sits over there and he blames me. It's always my fault when he can't find a babysitter. So I'm always taking an L when it comes to jobs, just about anything. My life does not matter. My schedule doesn't matter to him at all. If you truly do not want kids and a man wants kids, don't do it. Because then at some point you're going to really regret it. We're not going to say you're going to hate your kids. But if you're not ready for all the responsibility that comes with being a mom, and just in case he leave you alone, do not have any kids. I am so stressed out, as you guys can see. Look at my eyes. This shit is not fun.
Welcome back to my series where I read messages from regretful parents. I did receive this as a direct message, and I do have permission to share it here on TikTok. I was always on the fence about whether or not I wanted children. I knew it was not something I needed in the way that some people do, but coming from a big family and marrying into another, it was something that was expected of me. I was always told that my indifference to children was simply because they weren't mine. And once I had my own kids, I'd see that any fears or hesitations I had were unfounded. I was always told it was something I'd get over. About 2 years after we got married, my husband and I started trying to get pregnant. It didn't happen easily and wound up turning into years of fertility treatments and 2 miscarriages. I told my husband that if what we were trying didn't work, I was not willing to put myself through IVF. Instead of supporting my decision, he would dismissively say, "We'll see," and implied that it was a deal breaker if I didn't do everything humanly possible to see this through. Truth be told, I was worried about getting pregnant for a lot of reasons. One, because my husband was such a workaholic, and I worried that he prioritized his job over his family. I made it clear that I wanted our kids to have an actual father, unlike his, who thought that providing a paycheck and doing absolutely nothing else counted as being a good father. We had several conversations about my expectations of him as a parent, especially because I was so unsure of how much I actually wanted to be one. But he insisted he did, and 2 weeks after we accepted an out-of-state relocation for his job, I found out I was pregnant. We moved just weeks before I gave birth to our son, and as if a relocation at 8 months pregnant wasn't stressful enough, the company I worked for went back on their promise to let me stay on as a remote worker. They let me work right up until my due date and then locked me out of the system, telling me to contact them if and when you find daycare, despite knowing that daycare had never been part of my plan. And even if it had, they'd just taken away my means to pay for it. I had horrific PPD, and to this day, I have never felt worse. My son was a miserable baby with terrible colic and acid reflux. He slept only in 1-hour stretches and cried the rest of the time. My thyroid was out of whack, but no one wanted to see me before the 6-week mark, so I dropped down to 96 pounds and couldn't make enough breast milk. I also had a pinched nerve in my back that made walking painful, wasn't sleeping, could barely find time to eat, and the worst part was I was 100% alone. My husband got 2 weeks of paternity leave, and that was it. He went back to work as if I wasn't a shell of myself, being terrorized by my hormones and an endlessly crying baby. He was awful to me to boot. After being awake with the baby all night, I would beg him to stay home a little longer so I could get some sleep. And he would say, "You already lost your job. I can't lose mine." One day, upon coming home to find both me and the baby crying, no dinner on the table, and me still in my pajamas, he said, "I don't understand why everyone else can do this, but you can't." I felt like he'd physically slapped me. When I begged him to let me hire someone to help with the baby, he replied, "Why? So you can really do nothing all day?" I was so angry at him, but so angry with myself for believing him when he promised to be a good dad. I wished that he had been honest with me and with himself, that his need to be a father was more about his need to appear perfect than it ever was about a desire to be a parent. He didn't want to be a father, he wanted to be able to say he was a father. But by the time he proved that, it was too late to turn back. I was a married single parent, and my own husband was letting me drown. I honestly think we'd be divorced if he'd not had his own bout with depression a couple of years after mine. He realized how horribly he treated me and that I wasn't weak or exaggerating what I'd gone through. He's a much better partner now, but I can't say I don't still harbor resentment for having to shoulder the burden of parenting alone for so long. No matter how much I love my son, my life isn't my own. My husband has never once had to consult with me before scheduling an appointment. He has never been sick and had to drag our son to the walk-in with him because he had no one to watch him. He has never spent all day in the hot sun making magical memories, only to come home exhausted and still cook dinner. I have done all of the above, and there's no end in sight. Everyone who told me my fears about parenthood were unfounded was dead wrong. And the worst part is, I think they knew it.
Bro, being a single mom is literally the hardest shit ever. Like, you cannot do anything. I literally got like one side of my weights racked at the gym because I tried to work out, and they're calling me over the intercom to come get him literally after 5 minutes.
Now, I've talked about this on my platform a lot of times. If you scroll down, you'll see videos about it. But this is exactly why I can't do motherhood. In this day and age where you're not guaranteed a solid partner to stick around throughout the journey, it's not a risk I'm willing to take. I previously stated in another video that marriage will not save you from single motherhood, and I'm going to expand on that thought a little bit. What I didn't say in that video is marriage does not make you immune to life's problems, and that's what a lot of people are not understanding. Nobody likes to talk about it and say it, but your spouse can pass away. Yes, you would be considered a widower or a widow, but that would make you a single parent. Your partner can become chronically ill. That's a real possibility in life. My mom always told me, never have more kids than you can handle taking care of by yourself. And now I understand why. Because at any moment, it doesn't matter if you're married or not, life can put you in a situation where you have to take care of a kid by yourself. And that's not a risk I'm willing to take at any point.